Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. In today's session, we will be learning about Apad Dharma, which means conduct permitted during calamities. Durabhikshe chatma vrityartham ekayanagatastatha akaryam vapya bhakshyam va kritva papanna lipyate. In very adverse circumstances, to save one's own life or to save lives of others, when there is no option left, then even doing the forbidden things does not incur sin. In the Mahabharata war, Yudhishthira said, Ashwathama hatha kunjaraha, a truth that was mixed with the intent to deceive Drona. We came across this example in one of the earlier sessions. There, in the context of Satyam, it was said that Yudhishthira incurred the sin of speaking what was not true because though his words were true, it was mixed with the intent of deceiving Drona. But Krishna himself convinced Yudhishthira to take this route of Apadharma. Yudhishthira was Dharmaraja, and owing to his Dharmanishta, it is said that during the war, Yudhishthira's chariot always floated a few inches above the earth. But after he uttered these deceitful words, the chariot touched the ground. Meaning, though the act was done with an intent to adhere to the higher dharma, the very nature of the act was in alignment with the downward current. Hence, it got the reaction accordingly. It was a reaction to the breaking of his vow. Yudhishthira had vowed to never lie, and he lied to his guru. The gravity of things change when bigger figures come into play. On a pure white cloth, even the smallest stain is very evident. Somewhere Yudhishthira did not deeply feel that his act was totally in adherence with dharma. He felt he was doing adharma, hence his intent got reflected in the fruit too. Yudhishthira's understanding of dharma was still incomplete. At the same time, in yet another story, where Vishwamitra and Chandala's context was described, Vishwamitra was 100% sure that his action was purely apadharma and its scope of work was only till the calamity lasted. He knew he had to get his hands dirty, but he was sure he can clean them up too. There was absolute clarity in Vishwamitra's mind regarding what was his dharma, and this ardent faith in dharma itself saved him from the very calamity. Sometimes during calamities, unrighteousness becomes righteous. Bhavet satyam na vaktavyam, vaktavyam anritam bhavet. Yatra anritam bhavet satyam, satyam vapi anritam bhavet. In situations where a lie does the work of truth, by lying you can save an innocent. Or in a situation where speaking the truth would risk the life of innocence, it is best to speak what is not true. It is best to speak a lie. Understanding the subtlety and the entirety of dharma is not easy at all. Even Vishwamitra got his understanding of dharma by paying a heavy price. Before the context of the Chandala, in the Mahabharata, there is a story where Kaushika Rishi takes a vow to speak only truth. And then one day, he sees a group of villagers running away from looters and killers. And these villagers were hiding in the forest. When the looters ask the Rishi, he tells them the truth. The thieves, the looters, they kill all the villagers. For this, Kaushika goes to hell, for he did not realize the true nature of dharma then. Blindly sticking to policies and vows is not dharmacharana. If dharma is so subtle in normal times, during calamities it is even more subtle. When there is health, safety, security, wealth, and in general, times are good, it is easy to stick to the rules of dharma. Dharma gets complex and filled with the dilemmas when times are not good. During calamities, dharma cannot be viewed or perceived through the glasses of right and wrong. do's and don'ts. The sukshmata of dharma almost becomes a secret that even with my best efforts cannot be revealed in words here. If a calamity has befallen, calamity of any kind, personal, global, or political, it means a downward current is dragging dharma down. At such times, dharma can be kept up only by swimming against the current, and that is apadharma. So, the first understanding of apadharma is that it is against the current. During calamities, friends become foes and foes become friends. Right appears wrong and wrong appears right. All the dualities get mixed up. There is constant dilemma of action. This situation is best explained in Skanda Purana. Here is the narration for you to visualize how calamities fall and how apadharma gets defined, how the sukshma gati of dharma itself drives the whole cycle. This ancient legend happened in the Treta Yuga of the first Kalpa. It is the story of an Indra called Vishvajita, who due to his pride, arrogance and faults lost the power to mentally perceive correctly what is good and gets cursed by Rishi Durvasa. In this curse lies the story of Apadharma too. यस्मै देवाः प्रयच्छन्ति पुरुषाय पराभवं बुद्धिं तस्यापकर्षन्ति सोवाचीनानि पश्यति. When the forces of nature decide to pull someone down, first their ability to think high and think clearly is destroyed. Such was the case with this Indra too. Sage Durvasa, a performer of penance, once happened to go to the river Pushpabhadra during his course of wandering in the worlds. There he saw the wife of a Vidyadhara who was engaged in water sports. She was holding in her right hand a very fragrant garland of golden lotuses from the heavenly Ganges. The garland was very special because it was a symbolic representation of goddess Shri. Seeing her, the sage approached her. He requested for the garland held by her. Knowing his greatness, she immediately bowed down to him, and out of great respect, she made him wear the garland round his neck. Being highly pleased, the sage went away. On his way, he saw Devendra coming to this great river. His victories were being praised in sweet musical voice by the Gandharvas. He was riding a royal elephant. Indra did not see the rishi, and he was lost in self-pride and the glory of his exploits. Yet the rishi was kind and looked upon Indra as a child whose attention was caught in some distraction. So the rishi, to bring back Indra's attention to the right things, hurled the garland towards him. Indra, who was already possessed by adharma, placed it on the temple of the elephant. The royal elephant, with his mind attracted by the fragrance of the golden lotuses, pulled it down with his trunk. From his trunk, it fell down to the ground. The elephant crushed it under his feet while he walked away. All this happened while the great sage, a storehouse of penance, was looking upon. This infuriated Durvasa, and he spoke to Indra, O intoxicated wicked one, addicted to pleasures, you are arrogant. You do not welcome the garland, the abode of goddess Shri. You have become blind by getting the kingdom of the three worlds. Now I shall teach you properly. Goddess Shri, with whose favor you are enjoying the kingdom of the three worlds, has abandoned you, and she will be submerged in the great ocean. As soon as Indra heard these words, it struck him like a thunderbolt. He at once jumped down from the elephant. With his pride humbled, Indra fell at the feet of the sage. But under the influence of time, Durvasa said he won't forgive and left to Kailasha. Goddess Shri also disappeared from the three worlds into the ocean. All the celestial damsels left Indra and followed Shri. Penance, purity, mercy, truth, tapa, shaucha, daya and satya, true dharma, prosperity, siddhis, supernatural powers, strength, sattva, the quality of goodness, all of them followed Shri. Vehicles, elephants, and others, ornaments of gold, precious stones, metal implements decreased. Within a short time, food, plants, herbs became scanty. No milk was generated in cows. From the mansions of Kubera, even the 9 treasures disappeared. Indra, along with the multitudes of devas, became like ascetics. All materials of enjoyment came to an end in all the 3 worlds. Devas, Daityas, and human beings were afflicted with poverty. There was a terrific drought which ruined completely the seeds and grains. Repeatedly crying out, "Where is food? Where is food?" hungry men, bereft of strength, left villages and towns and resorted to forests and mountains. Being overwhelmed with hunger, some of them killed animals, both wild and domestic, and ate their flesh, cooked or uncooked. Learned men and sages who followed true dharma did not eat flesh, even though they were being starved to death. Seeing them taking to fasting and starvation, old sages along with Manu taught them apadharma, as told in the Vedas, which has to be followed in adversities like this. They told the sages that saving life is the highest goal of dharma, hence eat only to sustain the body and continue your penances. Some sages whose sense organs had become confused due to hunger gave perverse interpretations to the words in Vedas. They took words like aja to mean as goat and encouraged animal sacrifices. Killing in the name of devas and pitradevatas became prevalent. It took the semblance of dharma. Then devas, sages, kings, and men who were thus taught by them performed according to their capacities various sacrifices. Some performed sacrifices for wealth that was lost, some did so to obtain woman, son, and houses, and some for the prosperity of their profession. Thus, in that great calamity, sacrifices involving hinsa were commenced. Dharma itself followed goddess Shri to the bottom of the ocean, while a semblance of dharma remained. Adharma, along with its consequence, pervaded all the 3 worlds and thrived within a short time. It was extremely difficult to be checked by the wise and learned people which was real dharma and which was not. There were numerous children produced by those poverty stricken people, and extensions of their families increased greatly in the worlds. Those who became learned among them regarded adharma, the then prevalent practices, as the real dharma, and even wrote treatises accordingly. Those treatises became authoritative in due course of time by the power of tradition. Thus, in the first Treta Yuga, you see how calamity changed the shape of dharma perceived, while real dharma was preserved safely in its secrecy under the ocean with Shri. Devendra, who was devoid of Shri, was defeated by the Danavas, who themselves were bereft of Shri. He was deprived of his position and all the retinue. All of them wore garments made of barks and skins. They consumed the flesh of animals and birds. The behavior of devas, daityas, men, and nagas were all alike. In this way, they passed 100 years in poverty and suffering. Even though they tried to gain Shri by performing sacrifices, they did not succeed. Then, at the end of 1000 years, devas who were beggarly attired due to the curse of Durvasa sought refuge in God Brahma. Brahma instructed them to do penance and request Lord Vishnu, the sustainer, for help. By his severe penance, Indra and the Devatas got the attention of Vishnu, who finally tells them to churn the milky ocean and retrieve Shri and Dharma from the bottom of the ocean. Like a penniless person getting a treasure trove, the Devatas became overjoyed. With their palms folded in reverence, all the Devas devoutly praised Vishnu. Thus you see, when Shri is gone, health, wealth, nobility, prosperity, beauty, joy, love, good conduct, knowledge, insight, virtuous actions, and wisdom is also gone. And with all these gone, there is a downward pulling current in the system, adhogati. And with all these gone, dharma's true nature becomes hidden too. There is way too much of symbolism and inner depth in this story, hence I dare not present any interpretations here. I will leave the story take its own sweet unfoldment within each of you. May you figure out who is Shri and what is Dharma. Hoping the story has painted the picture of calamity in your minds, moving on with what the scriptures tell about dealing with calamities. A Viveki can foresee calamity and must try best to avoid getting into this downward pulling current. In the Mahabharata also comes the story of the three fishes who are in the pond where water level is going down. The far-sighted fish leaves the pond when it senses calamity. It changes the course of its life. The second one somehow manages to escape the calamity at the last moment, and the Dirghasutri fish gets caught in the currents and perishes. So being alert in life and sensing the downward current is important to practice. And if we are in the middle of an adverse situation, then one is permitted to do whatever it takes to save one's life. Only life-threatening things are called apat here. Every small trickle and trouble is not apat. Even in the worst adverse situations, Shastras tell, Akartavyam na kartavyam pranaihi kanthagatairapi. Kartavyameva kartavyam pranaihi kanthagatairapi. Even if your life seems to be in risk, don't do what is not dharma, what the Shastras have forbidden. Even during calamity, please don't forsake what is prescribed. Similarly, it is also said that violence involved in self-defense does not amount to papa. यः नरः अनपराधी च स्वात्मप्राणस्य रक्षणात् शत्रुमुद्युतशस्त्रं वा पूर्णं तेन हतोऽपि वा प्रतिहन्यान्नरो हिंस्यान् न स पापेन लिप्यते. Any action involving violence which is for self-defense does not account to be papa. If an innocent person is attacked, he can retaliate and save his life. And if this self-defense involves violence, so be it. Words of the Shastras are not Shastra if they don't pass the test of higher reasoning. Shastras pass the test of higher reasoning, hence they get their power to rule. Scriptures have earned this power. It is not something they inherit because they are reverential in nature. Shasanat, Shamsanat, Shastram, Shastramithyavidhiyate. Shastras can explain the Yathartha Swarupa. They can explain the very reality, hence they rule. Now let us look at Dharma Rahasya, the secret understanding of Dharma. Here are a few verses that will point you to the secret. May it be revealed to you. Ijyadhyayana danani tapah satyam kshamaghrana alobha iti margoyam dharmasyashta vidhasmrutah tatra purva chaturvargo dambharthamapi sevyate uttarascha chaturvargah na amahatmasu tishtati. Puja, yajnadi karyas, rituals. Adhyayana, dana, tapasya, satya, forbearance, compassion, and being devoid of greed are the 8 manifested forms of dharma. Among these, the first 4, that is, performing rituals, adhyayana, dana, and the pretense of austerities, can be done even by impostors. But the last 4, satya, forbearance, compassion, and being content, can only be exhibited by Mahatmas. It can only be seen in Mahatmas. Dharmam yo badhate dharmo nasadharmak kudharmakah avirodhatu yo dharmah sadharmah satya vikrama. If any of our duties are performed such that it comes in the way of others and causes them trouble, or becomes a hurdle in other aspect of our own duties, then certainly the goal of dharma is not met here. Sanlapa sparsha nishvasa sahayana asana ashanat Yajanadhyayanath Yaunat Papam Sankramate Nrinam. Mingling with adharmic people transmits their papa energies and contaminations. This shloka tells speaking, eating, traveling, and even breathing the same air causes sankramana, transmission of papa. You pick up Pranatmaka Shaktis. So it is better to avoid the company of adharma. It is very difficult to stay in nirlipta state, the state of not being affected by sahavasa. Chandan Vishavyapat nahi lipute rahat bhujang. The poet says sandalwood tree does not imbibe any poison, though so many poisonous snakes are wrapped around its trunk and branches all the time. That quality is attributed to only very highly evolved souls who are like the sandalwood tree. For ordinary people like us, sahavasa is very important factor to stay in the right current. शुष्केनार्द्रं दह्यते मिश्रभावान्न मिश्रः स्यात् पापकृद्भिः कथञ्चित्. Just as wet wood gets burned along with dry wood, innocent good people incur papas due to the company they keep. बुद्धौ कलुषभूतायां विनाशे प्रत्युपस्थिते अनयोनयसङ्काशो हृदयान्नापसर्पति. When mind and intellect gets clouded and calamity is nearing, then even unjustful things appear to be just. Shaktah parajane data svajane dukkha jivini madhvapato vishaswadaha sadharma pratirupakaha. Leaving one's own family in daridrata, poverty and starvation out of greed for fame, if someone gives dana, such dana will only bring unpleasant outcome. Such an act is like poison coated with honey. Gurorapyavaliptasya karyakaryamajanatah utpatha pratipannasya parityago vidhiyate. If someone who has adorned the throne of a guru and at some point does adharmic actions and is no longer the guiding light, such a person must not be kept in the Guru's sthana. Thus you see, the true nature of dharma has no tolerance for adharma. With this, we come to an end of this strange session on Apadharma and Dharma Rahasya. May true understanding of dharma shine forth in this effort. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.